I want to share a podcast with you that I actually listen to when I want to feel deeply seen. It's The Brilliance Method with Alicia Skye. And it's where emotional truth meets embodied wisdom. Whether you're just embarking on your self-development journey or you're deep into your becoming, Alicia's conversations meet you where you're at, activating something ancient and entirely your own. So after this episode, go have a listen and make sure to hit follow so that you'll never miss your weekly fix. Do the holidays leave you and your wallet completely drained every year? Do you spend weeks or even months recovering from the financial hangover of Christmas? Let's make this year different. Rewire for Radiance is a subconscious reprogramming intensive that helps you release money fears, guilt, and overgiving so you can manifest more with ease. This year, step into the holidays feeling abundant, radiant, and magnetic, ready to create your dream life and flow. Go to the show notes and click the link using the code COSMIC20 for 20% off and start your Rewire today. There's a voice in your head that's been costing you more money than you even realize. It's not the voice of logic. It's not the voice of your intuition. It's not even the voice of desire. It's the snarky inner critic. The one that whispers to you that you're falling behind and tells you that you're not enough and that to be more, you need to have more. More knowledge, more things, better things. And by purchasing that certain special something, you will fix it all. Welcome back to the Cosmic Valkyrie Podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Louise, Master Certified Hypnotist and the creator of the Evolution 10X Method. I've been helping women all over the world for decades reclaim their personal power and create their dream life. And today I'm really going to dive into that snarky inner critic. We have all been taught to fear the big financial mistakes, the 5-figure decisions, the dramatic overspending, and the business investments that flop. But the truth is, most women don't drain their wealth in one single moment. They lose it in micro purchases over time. $17 here, $48 there, a subscription that you forgot to cancel, a course you never finished, a serum that promises confidence in a bottle. These are silent thieves of wealth. And wealth isn't just a number in a bank account. I'm talking about internal abundance. And these silent thieves, they're not happening because you're bad with money or even irresponsible. They're happening because the subconscious mind is trying to protect you from discomfort. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. And your inner critic is the messenger it is using to do that. And today I want to pull back the curtain on that voice. We're going to trace where she came from, why she is so damn convincing, and the way she manipulates your decisions in a way that you don't even see. By the end of this episode, you're going to know exactly how to interrupt that cycle, reclaim your voice, and start making financial decisions from alignment instead of autopilot, so that you're setting yourself up through this holiday season and into 2026. Let's start with the origins of that inner critic. First, she is not a flaw. She is a survival mechanism. She was built in the early years of your life, before you even had words to explain what you were experiencing. Differentiating between good and bad, designed to keep you out of danger's way, to keep you safe. So it's really important to understand that every moment of criticism, comparison, rejection, or pressure coded a message into your subconscious, so that your subconscious would remember the event or similar events and send out a warning signal. And that warning signal creates a behavior intended for protection. And it's a system that bypasses the logical brain and taps directly into your instinctual brain. Think of it like this. Maybe someone told you that you were too much as a child. I used to get that all the time. too loud, too ambitious, too intense. Or maybe it was watching your parents argue about not having enough money, tying safety to not having enough. Or maybe, and probably relatable for most women, maybe you were praised when you looked pretty or were polite or put together, teaching us that our worth is tied to our appearance. And along the way, experiences like these became a rule. And your subconscious built an internal voice to reinforce these rules. And she is your snarky inner critic. What I want you to really get here is your brain's number one priority is familiarity. Whew, that's a tongue twister. Meaning it wants to be able to identify what is or could happen in the future. And it doesn't care about your happiness, your success, or even your wealth. When it spots something unknown or unexpected, it's going to use that internal critic to keep you inside the lines of those old stories, those rules. Because when she keeps you playing within those rules, she believes she can predict the outcome, the future. And in turn, she believes that she's keeping you safe. Even when those rules and stories sabotage you. Stories like you're too ambitious, so you tone yourself down and hold back from taking big, bold actions. Or the one I hear most, the story that you're not enough, and it triggers you to buy more so that you feel that you are more, especially when it comes to our self-esteem. And another story I hear all the time is safety is scarce. And so she triggers you into worrying and initiating distracting behaviors. This is when we are emotionally eating, shopping for therapy, and that can become a very distinct loop. You have probably heard her voice for decades, and her words sound so real. This is because her words aren't random. They're echoes of an original conditioning that had been shaped through your worldview. And when you combined that with the capitalistic culture designed to profit off your insecurities, girl, you have the perfect storm for overspending through overconsumption. So this is the perfect place for us to address why the inner critic sounds so logical. Here's what makes that snarky inner critic so dangerous. She rarely sounds like the villain. She sounds incredibly reasonable, telling us stuff like, it's just $12, you can afford that, or you deserve a little treat. You work so hard, or even buying this thing, this is the thing that's finally going to change everything. On the surface, those statements might even be true, but beneath them, there's always a deeper message, one that 97% of women are ignoring, the message of, you are not enough as you are. And your subconscious brain is always trying to resolve that internal dissonance, the gap between who you believe you are and who you want to be. So when that critic points out that gap, your instinct is to close it, and as fast as it possibly can. And that's when you reach for those purchases. You push the add to cart. And for a brief, fleeting moment, there's a dopamine hit. A relief floods through the system, and you feel better for a while. But not really for long, because the critic doesn't go away. That's because the core belief hasn't changed and is still in operation. And the cycle will continue over and over again. Your inner critic is incredibly talented when it comes to using your environment against you, especially in this digital age. You see, your brain has the reticular activating system, RAS for short. I know you've heard me tell you about it before, but like I said, I'm going to talk about it until my face is blue because we really need to understand its importance. Once again, your brain has a reticular activating system, RAS for short. It's a neural filter that determines what you notice and what you ignore. Let me use an example. I used to drive a GMC truck, but about 4 years ago, I upgraded to a Toyota Tundra. Now, here's the thing. Before I bought that truck, I didn't really notice any Tundras on the road. But once I purchased the Tundra, and I love my Tundra, it seemed like all I saw were Tundras. Now, the number of Tundras on the road did not change, but my awareness of them did. My RAS was hard at work identifying Tundras. So here's the deal. Once your subconscious believes something, it reinforces those beliefs by validating it through more observations, seeing more Tundras. When we're talking about this in comparison to self-worth, it plays out more like this. Your belief could be that you're always behind, or you need to improve, or maybe even that you're not enough. Your RAS starts scanning the environment for proof of this. And suddenly, every Instagram ad feels targeted at you. Every influencer's morning routine becomes a measuring stick. Every limited time offer triggers you into a little jolt of FOMO, a fear of missing out. And your inner critic uses that evidence to double down, saying things like, see? Everyone else is ahead. Why aren't you? Because you're not committed enough? Or maybe it says, see, you're missing out. If you just work harder or be more social, you will be more seen and heard. Or maybe you've heard this one. If you don't buy this, you'll fall behind. All the millionaires are doing this or buying this, so it must be your ticket out of the struggle. And all of a sudden, this is where those micro purchases become not just a habit, but a reflex, a subconscious attempt to self-connect to a story that was never true in the first place. I know this is a little intense and can be a little triggering, but it's really important for you to understand in order to create more wealth in your life. And I want to go deeper into this cycle, but I also want you to know right now that there is a way out. So this is not hopeless. And we're not talking about deprivation or cutting out every indulgence or even punishing yourself. We are talking about rewriting the subconscious rulebook that your inner critic is reading from. So I'm going to show you how to start doing exactly that before we end this episode, and even give you an opportunity to go deeper with a free 11-minute training that will walk you step by step through the rewiring process. But first, let's expose how that inner critic voice is costing you far more than any price tag on a single purchase. Because the truth is, nobody wakes up in the morning thinking, I'm going to sabotage my financial future today. Yet, by the end of the holiday season, the bank account is mysteriously lighter, the credit card bills are heavier, and the shame spiral is already set into motion. Girl, it's not because you're irresponsible or even bad with money. This is because your subconscious has been conditioned to associate spending with safety. This is why micro purchases are so insidious. They don't feel threatening. They're small, harmless, and very easily justified. I know because I did it for decades. But they're actually bypassing the conscious brain entirely, slipping straight into the subconscious decision-making system. Every time you press buy now on a $19 audiobook that you'll never listen to, or every time you add a $27 lipstick to the cart because you deserve it, or even when you grab a deal on something that you didn't even know that you wanted until 10 seconds ago, you're not making a financial decision. You're acting out a neural pattern. The subconscious loves these moments. It lives for these moments. Why? Because they're low risk and high familiarity. The purchase doesn't trigger alarms. It soothes them. And the inner critic, even the opportunist, reinforces the pattern with praise. It loves that you do that. And it cheers you on by saying things like, see, that wasn't such a big deal. You're investing in yourself. You're being more responsible. Except, of course, none of these things are true. What's really happening is a chemical reaction, a dopamine trap. That's what's really driving this behavior. Dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter of motivation, anticipation, and reward. It's the spark that lights up your brain when you imagine something exciting. It's also the hit that you get when you check your phone, scroll through your feed, or swipe that credit card. But here's the thing. Dopamine isn't released when you receive that thing. It's released in anticipation of it. That means that the act of buying gives your brain a bigger chemical reward than actually having the thing. That's why so many of us have unworn clothes in the closet, unread books, skincare products collecting dust. The subconscious didn't want the thing. It wanted the dopamine hit. And that inner critic, she knows this. She actually has weaponized it and says, you'll feel better when you buy this. This will get you closer to what you want to be. It will motivate you. And for a moment or two, a fleeting chemical moment, it works. You feel lighter, safer, closer, and then the dopamine drops. And in with it comes the crash. Guilt, shame, frustration. And guess what your inner critic says next? She says, you messed up. You're so bad with money. Maybe you should buy something to fix it. What I want you to hear is the same voice that pushed you into the purchase is now using your regret to set you up for the next one. It's a perfect self-perpetuating sabotage. But this goes way deeper than the dopamine because purchases don't just soothe feelings. They reinforce identity. We're not just buying a product. We're buying a version of ourselves. The $27 download, that's future you, the productive, successful woman who's finally going to get better at what she does. Or that $60 serum, that's the desirable you. The radiant, magnetic version who feels confident walking through any room. That $99 monthly membership, that's committed you, the one who's all in on her growth. But here's the twist. When those purchases are driven by the inner critic, they are not empowering. They're reinforcing beliefs that you are not that woman yet. And that you need to buy your way into becoming her. And every time you do, the subconscious learns a subtle but very dangerous lesson that you can't become who you desire to be without external validation. This is how identity becomes entangled with consumption. And it's why micro purchases feel so hard to break free from. Because on a subconscious level, they're not about the product at all. They're all about who you believe you are. Now, this might smart a bit. Not all that spending is about self-improvement or worthiness. Most of micro purchasing is about avoidance. Shopping to avoid loneliness, investing in a course to avoid facing the fear of failure. Or upgrading your wardrobe to avoid the deeper work of self-acceptance. Sure, it's a money pattern, but it's initiated by emotional bypassing, a socially sanctioned way to numb what we do not want to feel. And this is where your inner critic becomes the ultimate trickster. She convinces you that the purchase is the solution, that this fix will finally fill that gap. But the gap isn't external, it's internal. And it's the void created by the dissonance between your higher self and your conditioned self in this three-dimensional body. This is why so many women, even those who make good money, even those who know better, end up frustrated and ashamed by their spending habits. I know this because it was me. On some level, I knew it wasn't about the money at all. It was about the unmet emotional needs underneath it. But here's the empowering truth. Once you see this, you cannot unsee it. Because when you understand that your spending is not a reflection of your value, but one of your programming, you unlock the power to rewrite that program. And that's exactly what we're going to do next. In the final part of today's episode, I'm going to show you how to interrupt this pattern at a core level, how to rewrite the subconscious story, shift the internal narrative, and become the woman who spends, invests, and expands from conscious choices rather than emotional reaction. Now remember, if what I'm saying is landing deeply, I have created a free 11-minute video training called Rewriting the Rules for Financial Freedom. It's designed to help you start this exact rewriting process. So the next time your snarky inner critic starts whispering, you will have the tools to respond differently. I'll tell you how to access that at the end of this episode. But for now, let's keep going. Because this is the next part. It's where the transformation really begins. Awareness is activation. The first and most important thing to understand is you cannot change what you refuse to see. Awareness is not passive. It is activating. It's the spark that flips the decision-making process from automatic to conscious. And the moment you can witness your inner critic without obeying her, you've already taken back control. So the next time you feel that impulse to spend, take a beat. Not forever, not even for a whole day, just for a few seconds. It could be 3 seconds just to name the voice. Recognize that it's not you, it's the critic. That desire is fear-based. And it's not even your intuition. It's your conditioned response. This tiny moment of separation matters. It reminds your brain that you are not that voice. You are the awareness behind it, the consciousness that can choose a different story. When you pause even briefly, you create a space where choice becomes possible. And once you name that voice, the next step is to interpret the cycle by questioning the story. I'm going to keep this part simple. We're just going to have 3 powerful questions that can interpret the automatic pattern. The first one is, what am I feeling right now? Are you feeling bored, lonely, stressed, seeking validation? This question shifts focus from the object, meaning the purchase, to the emotion underneath. The second question, what story is this purchase trying to validate? That you're successful? Worthy? That you're improving? This question helps you see whether the impulse is coming from empowerment or inadequacy. The third question, does this align with the woman that I'm becoming? This is the most important one because it calls forth the future self, the one who already embodies abundance, wealth, trust, and discernment. So if the answer to any of these questions feels contracted, needy, fear-based, that's your sign to pause. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't to not spend the money, it's to make the decision from a place of true agency instead of that fear of survival. Beyond that pause, beyond that question, is where the actual rewriting begins. The critic thrives on repetition. She's been repeating the same stories for decades. So to rewrite them, you need repetition too, but repetition rooted in truth. Here's how it works. Identify the core story. What belief fuels most of your impulse spending? It might sound like you're always behind, you're not enough, you need to keep up, or maybe even that you're not responsible with money. After you identify that story, you're going to create a counter identity. You're going to write a statement that declares the opposite. Not as hope, but as present truth. So an example, you could write something like, I'm building wealth with precision and power. Or even, I trust myself to make aligned financial decisions. Or how about, I invest in expansion, not validation? And then you're going to reinforce that story daily. This is not about affirmations you don't believe. It's about installing new neural pathways through repetition. Every time the critic speaks, you respond with this truth, out loud, in writing, in your actions. This is how the subconscious learns, through consistency and embodied evidence. And this is where hypnosis is the fastest track that can rewrite this story in a matter of minutes, not months, not years. And exactly what happens inside my programs. But let's do a quick exercise today, one that you can return to time and time again. If it's safe for you right now, not if you're driving, I want you to close your eyes and take in a deep breath and exhale slowly. Yeah, right? Feel that. Just relax a little bit. Good. Now I want you to imagine a version of you 5 years from now. She is financially grounded, confident, discerning. Money flows to you and through you with ease. You invest with clarity and spend with intention. You don't reach for purchases to soothe emotions because you no longer need to. I want you to pay attention. How do you walk into a store? How do you open your bank account app? How do you respond when an impulse to fix something with money arises? Feel your presence. Notice how calm and spacious and steady it is. This is not a fantasy. This is potential. One that already exists in the quantum field. It's waiting for you to align with it. And the path from here to there, it's not about hustling harder or making more money. It's about collapsing your timeline and becoming that woman right now. One who chooses differently, thought by thought, purchase by purchase, pattern by pattern. Open your eyes. I want you to remember, you are not that snarky inner critic. You are not the stories that she tells you. And you certainly are not the sum total of the things you've bought to feel worthy. You are the consciousness behind everything. You are the creator, the shapeshifter, the architect of your financial reality. And the moment you stop trying to buy your worth and start embodying it, everything changes. Your spending shifts from impulsive to intentional. Money becomes a tool for freedom instead of a source for shame. And wealth, true, sustainable wealth, starts to build from the inside out. Okay, if this conversation lit something inside of you, I want you to give yourself the next step. I want you to go to the show notes and download that free 11-minute training. It's short, powerful, and designed to help you begin rewriting your subconscious spending patterns immediately. Inside, I walk you through deeper emotional coding that drives your overspending and give you the tools to dismantle it so that you can make aligned, powerful financial choices from here on out. Consider it your bridge from awareness to transformation. You can grab it by using the link in the show notes, because every day a new reality begins with a one conscious choice. And this is your choice for today. That critic's voice might have drained your wallet in the past, but it doesn't have to shape your future. You are the author now. So let's rewrite your financial script together. Until next week. Thanks for listening to this entire podcast. If you love helping others, then please share this via your social media with friends and family. If you found value in it, they will too. Also, if you have questions, I'm here for you. You can email me questions to thecosmicvalkyrie@gmail.com. I might even use one of your questions on future podcast episodes. Also, I do have a personal request. I believe that we are all here to help each other heal, grow, and evolve. So let's help more people. If you would please, Leave a nice review on iTunes. It will help the algorithms, and I would be forever grateful. And through your assistance, we could transform more lives.